Chapter 15 Dragons. Well, he obviously isn't giving me a choice on whether I want to be a dragon or not. I guess I shouldn't have actually asked for anything and just accept the gifts he is already giving me. I start flipping through the pages of the old book, trying desperately not to rip any of them even more than they already are. The description of each dragon also includes a number ranging from 1 to 10. My guess would be that is their danger level. That also means the higher the danger level, the more powerful they are, going off of the magic they can use. It seems those with a lower danger level can't use as much magic as those with a higher danger level. Of course, brute strength is also probably taken into account. Most of the dragons have a danger level of 5 or lower. Not a single one of those dragons can use a legendary type of magic. I checked a few times. I keep flipping through the pages and do the thing everyone would have. I tried to find the most powerful dragon out of all of them. After flipping through almost the entire book, I land on the last page that is possible to read. This dragon has a danger level of 10. The description says, leader of all dragons. I read the name and almost laugh. The book calls it the foul Pharaoh Dragon. Who named this thing? At least I'll never have to say or hear that name. The description also explains what it looked like. It reads, the foul pharaoh's skin and bones are entirely made of the hardest metal known. Its narrow eyes sit graciously within its hard skull. Two small, curved horns made of crystal sit atop its head. A few large crystal teeth poke out from the sides of its mouth. A huge neck runs down from its head and into a long body. Two small rows of crystal spikes run down the sides of its neck. The top has 3 rows of crystal spikes running along its spine. The bottom contains a layer of crystal to shield the softest and most vulnerable point on the creature. For slim limbs carry its body and allow the creature to stand arrogantly and noble. Each limb has 4 digits, each of which end in thick claws made of crystal. Freakish wings, each the same size as the dragon itself, grow starting from just below its shoulders and end at the end of its shoulder blades. The wings are bladed in structure and sharp spiky. Crystal scales cover the top of each visible bone. Its wide tail ends in a curled tip and is covered in massive crystalline spikes. This dragon is the only dragon that can change its body color and size. Was that entire dragon just a special robot? Seriously, what's with all the metal and crystal? Well, either way, I guess I'll be choosing this one. Can I leave now? Wait a few seconds, I wait. And I black out, I open my eyes, not again, I'm back. What, you don't enjoy it here? He says no. I really don't, it's still too bright, I say. He just smiles in that same pose he's always in, with his elbows on his knees and head dropped on his hands. As always, he is still wearing the all-white suit and I am again wearing the all-white dress. Sorry, none of that can be changed, this is H. I cut him off. Yeah, I know it's heaven. You've said that before. How long is this going to take? Whatever could you be referring to? Does me becoming a dragon ring any bells? Ah, yes. It won't take long then. Why did you take me here? Well, the process was going to be fairly painful since the entire structure of your body has to change. That's very unfortunate, don't worry. I'll let you have a taste of it at the end, he says. Why you did say you didn't want to be bored. Pain won't change that at all. Oh, looks like it's time to go have fun, he says as I get swallowed again. I wake up and feel a slight discomfort. That discomfort begins to form into something else. That would be pain, although it is bearable. It spreads throughout my body. It suddenly stops. Is it done? That wasn't that bad then. It returns, but it feels worse than when I was stabbed in my last life. Worst of all, it's all over my body. It hurts so much. I feel like screaming RRO, Toy AARRR. Third person, it was heard throughout the world. The single loudest sound anyone had endured, however. Nobody knew who or what made the sound. All they knew is whatever it is powerful. Every major leader feared that one of the countries had found or made some sort of weapon that made that sound. They feared that another country might use it against them to start another war. And RAR XD Chapter 16 Return. I guess screaming helped end my suffering. I look around at my surroundings. I'm really a lot taller than I was just a minute ago. I'm still in the cave. I think when I screamed I must have used magic because I'm surrounded by scorch marks. There are also scattered chunks of earth everywhere. I continue looking around and see a rainbow-colored tail with clear crystal spikes on it. I watch as it slowly loses its color. It changes to a bland-colored gray. Except for the spikes that it has, they stay clear. What am I supposed to do? I need to get back to the academy. Just imagine yourself as a human again. That is most definitely not going to work. I think to myself for a bit, but I decide to attempt it anyway. I close my eyes and think of the body I had before I got to this cave. Did it work? I open my eyes. I'm back at my previous height. I look at my hands and to my surprise I'm back again as a human. Now how do I get out of this cave? I walk over to the giant cherry blossom tree and put my hands on it. They go through again, not again. I step through and I come out of the tree at the academy. It's still dark out. I'll go back to my room and act like that never happened. For now, I leave the courtyard and go up the stairs and down the hall into my room. Anne is asleep in her bed and my bed is made. This can just be a crazy nightmare. I fall asleep. Just a familiar voice calls me to wake. Who is it? I open my eyes to see an older girl with light blue hair hovering over my bed. I quickly sit up. Jess, she is using telepathy. She dives at me and hugs me. Who are you? I say, Jess. It's me and I are twins. You can't possibly be her. You've been missing. For 8 years. What do you mean? How could I have been gone for 8 years? I say. We all thought you were dead. It's literally only been one night. Just stop. Whether you like it or not. You were missing for 8 years. But now you're back. God, what did you do? I may have sped time a bit in heaven to make it seem like you were only gone for a little bit. I hate you. I'm sorry. I loved being your twin. I ruined it all. I say, none of this is your fault. Get dressed. I must go tell Hannah of your return. Yeah, okay. She leaves the room. I'm so frustrated. You didn't tell me this would take 8 years. There's no point in getting mad. I can't really take it back now. I change into a dress that matches my hair. Someone slams open the door. I look over to see Hannah with Anne standing behind her. Hi, I say to her with a nervous expression. Where have you been? I don't know. What do you mean? You don't know? For me it felt like no time passed. I can guess that from how old you still look. She says, well, it looks like I'm 8 years behind on the learning curve. Let's get started. I say, ignoring whether she wants to question me or not as I walk out of the room towards our classroom. Wait, we haven't told anyone yet. We won't know their reaction, Hannah says. I know what their reaction will be. They'll say, you're back, or how? Or, what happened, something like that. I say back to her and she follows me. I arrive at the classroom to find nobody present. See, Hannah, nothing to worry about. No one is even here. The only thing you really needed to learn was history. She says, well, give me a brief summary. I say. Okay then. The human continent Xerneas is the largest and most populated continent. Next is the demon continent Cresselia, the second largest and second most populated. Then there are the third and fourth continents, the elven continent Adroia and the man-beast continent Clomane. Long ago Cresselia tried to take over the world. An alliance between the other three was made to prevent that. Later Cresselia joined and peace happened, she says. That wasn't so hard. Except it started happening again. What started happening again? Everyone thinks Cresselia is going to try it again. What, take over the world? Yes, she says. What would make you think that? Well, about a month ago a noise was heard. What kind of noise would that be? Well, nobody is very sure. All we know is it is powerful, and if the source came from Cresselia, well, we'll probably end up having another war. Well, this got exciting real fast. Chapter 17 Reunion. I have to go for now. You two catch up. Hannah says as she leaves the room. So, how were the last 8 years? I ask. Well, I'm almost finished with my learning. I probably know more than you do now, she brags. Maybe, but we'll see about that. I've also practiced my magic a lot. I bet I could beat you if we fought, hee hee. You make me laugh. Hey, you should respect your big sister, meh. I shrug it off. Years ago, when we were still living with our parents, you told me so many stories. Specifically, you told me about swordsmanship, archery, martial arts, and taekwondo. Now, I don't know about taekwondo, but I've learned them all. I can beat practically everyone in school. She says enthusiastically. Wow, I'm impressed. I say, and she smiles. However, why did you do all of that? Her smile dissipates. I remember you told me about those. Like you knew from experience. So I wanted to be as good as you. Oh, that's good. I was thinking you did it because you wanted revenge or something. That's a horrible reason. Why would you think that? Maybe that's something I would do. Oh well. By now you must be better than I am at all of that. Nonsense, come on, we should tell the others. She takes my hand and drags me out of the room. She continues to take me down the hall, down the stairs and out into the courtyard. Why are we here, I ask. 5 years ago, David found a secret opening to a space. What kind of space? Just watch. She walks up to the tree and steps through. Don't tell me I walk through as well. Instead of me falling to my death, I am in a room roughly the same size as our classroom. As I look around, I see 3 people other than N. 2 boys and 1 girl. They are all looking at me. I told them you were back and that you haven't aged. And tells me so she was telling the truth. A man-beast boy says, let me guess, David, I say. Aha, he says, then you 2 are Samantha and Darren. You haven't changed at all, Samantha says. I wish I could say the same for the rest of you. You're all so much taller now. I say as I check my height with my sisters. I only reach to her waist. What do you do in here? I ask. Usually we practice magic. But we also just hang out. Darren says, there you are. Someone else enters the room. It's Hannah. Who all knows about this place, I ask. And only a 6, she says. How has nobody ever found it? Everyone shrugs. That's a mystery for another day. Come on, the principal would like to speak with you. Hannah says, pulling me out and back into the courtyard. Oh, come on, I've only been missing for 8 years. I say as she continues pulling me out of the courtyard and across the academy. We find ourselves next to a set of double doors. Hannah knocks and pushes them open. Hannah, have you brought her? Yes, sir. I look around the very small room and find nothing. The only things in this room are his desk and us. I look at him and recognize him immediately. Hello. Announcer man. I telepathically tell the man with maroon hair. Thanks you, Hannah. Miss Chinwike, please. Call me Principal Jipper now. Let's get straight to the point. What do you remember from the last 8 years? Well, first of all, those years I missed felt like a single night to me. And why is that? Sorry, but I wouldn't know. Interesting. What did you do that night? I think for a second. I'm not sure if I should tell him that I became a full-fledged dragon. Well, I couldn't sleep that night, so I went out to the courtyard. I sat there for a while and decided to take a closer look at the tree. I placed my hands on it and went straight through. I started falling. I fainted since it was very frightening. I woke up in a cave somewhere and I couldn't find the entrance. I walked until I found another tree like the one in the courtyard. I went through it again and popped back out in the courtyard. I tell him most of the truth. That just sounds like a strange dream to me, he says. I have proof of it actually happening though. What would that be you see in the cave? There were these crystals. They looked beautiful. So I took them all with space magic. I say, well, if you put them away, you can surely take them out. Of course, I pull out a random crystal. This one happens to be transparent and the size of his hand. Do you understand how valuable these are? Nope. Not a clue. Just one of these could make a very poor person live like nobles for the rest of their lives. Wow, I guess that place was a gold mine. Chapter 18 Test. You can keep all the crystals if you want, but it would surely help us if you made a donation. Principal Jipper says. Don't you get money from the nobles? I ask. Well, yes. But more money never hurt anybody. If that's all you called me for, can I leave now? Yes. You may go. Thank you, by the way. What's the point in having these doors when whoever walks through them gets underwhelmed immediately? I say, and I leave the room. I walk back the way Hannah and I came. I return to the tree and step through. Nobody is here. Where'd they all go? I say to nothing. I step back out and see Hannah. Where is everyone? I ask. They're at breakfast. Oh yeah, I guess sustenance is still needed to live. Huh, yeah. She says, slightly creeped out that I use sustenance rather than food. Come on, I'm starving. I feel like I haven't eaten anything in 8 years. I say, well, according to you, it was only one night. That doesn't mean I'm not hungry. Come on. She says and gestures me to follow. We end up back in the multipurpose room where everyone would usually eat. I suspect you remember how to get your food. She asks. Yeah, I'm fine, I say. I grab my food and get to the noble's table. I feel something watching me. I take a glance behind me to see multiple people avert their gazes. Geez, what's their problem? I ask out loud. You have been missing for 8 years, David says. Yeah, just accept it already, people. We finish eating and everyone gets to their classes. The 5 of us sit where we sat before I left. All right, class. You all remember that you have a test on Chapter 6 today, right? Hannah says as she walks in the room, yes. Everyone says except me. Hannah, what will I be doing? I ask. You will also be taking a test to see if you can skip a few years of the academy to keep up with your sister. She says, and I send a glare to Anne. Hannah passes out the tests. My test is another 75 questions. It is almost identical to the one I took to start. I finish in 10 minutes. Done, I say. Everyone looks at me. Record time, David says. Hannah takes my test and grades it, of course. Jessica, you got a perfect score, even on the history. Oh, that's nice. With this you could technically just graduate. But your parents might not be too thrilled that Anne is by herself. Don't they realize she was alone for 8 years? I ask. No, and hasn't gone home since you left. What? Why not, Anne? I didn't want them to know you had gone missing and I was by myself. Then why don't you graduate with me, I say. This whole time I've been letting everyone in on the conversation. I separate everyone else so only Anne can hear. You realize you can just ask me what the answers are anyway. But that's cheating only if you get caught. But I cut her off. Come on. Do it for your little sister's sake. She seems sad when I said little sister, Ms. N. Can I take that test as well? Oh. You want to try to graduate? I guess I could let you try. She says and gives Anne a separate test. And continues to take the test. Every once in a while she asks me if she has a question right. Sometimes it's wrong and I help her to get the right answer. It wouldn't help her learn if she didn't get the answers herself. After about an hour she is finally finishing. I'm finished, she tells Hannah. All right. Hannah takes her test and looks it over. It's all correct. Don't sound surprised, Ms. N. Samantha says she is the top student at the school. It's just you haven't been taught some of this yet. Hannah says, what about me? I haven't been taught either, I say. You're something else, she says. That's rude, I say. I will go tell the principal that you have both passed the academy. Hannah says and leaves. Why did she just leave us all here, I ask. She does this all the time, don't worry, Darren says. But she didn't tell us to do anything. Well, that's her fault, he says. Chapter 19, Sparring. So what do we do while we wait for her to come back? I ask, how about we spar each other, and asks. I look at everyone's reactions. They all seem expectant and eager to see that happen. What kind of sparring would it be, I was thinking. We could have 4 of them. 4 why 4? 1 for martial arts, 1 for swordsmanship, 1 for archery, and 1 for magic. Yeah. We're only doing 1. Which one? She asks, thinking I already chose 1. How am I supposed to know? You're the one who asked me. Why don't we mix them all together and fight with whatever we want? Okay, fair enough. Awesome, follow me. Anne takes my hand and drags me out of the classroom. Where are we sparring? In the MP room, of course. MP room, it's the multipurpose room. Oh. Well, at least the name is shorter now. She takes me directly to the MP room when we enter. There were a few people present. Please clear the floor, we will be sparring. And tells everyone telepathically. They all start to move towards the walls. What will you use to spar? I ask, genuinely curious. I'll use this. She says as she uses telekinesis to bring an actual sword directly into her hands. Isn't that a bit too real? What do you mean? Don't you have like a wooden practice sword or something? No, but what good would that kind of sword get me? Whatever, what will you use? She asks me. I'll just use me. You do not want to use weapons. I don't really have any. No killing, she says. Yeah. As we agree on that, our 3 classmates arrive. I'll be the referee for this match, Samantha says. Ready? Yes, we both say commence as she says to start. And is already moving very fast towards me. I, with my superhuman abilities, can easily watch where she is approaching. I act like I haven't seen anything and act surprised when she suddenly disappeared for everyone else. She ends up behind me and tries to slash at me horizontally. I dash forward and dodge her blade. I make sure everyone can hear me, you know. If that landed, I probably would be dead. Everyone is surprised that I moved out of the way. That is why a wooden practice sword would be better if you aren't facing your real enemy. How are you so fast? And asks who knows really. I say for everyone else and disappears again. I watch and she tries above me this time. She jumps and moves herself and her sword so it can go straight down into me. At the last second I move. If I were just a bit faster I could hit you. No. You would need to be a lot faster to hit me. I'm sorry if you're so tough. Why don't you show us then? Someone in the audience yells, well, that depends. I make a menacing face. Are you prepared to die? Everyone freaks out. I'm joking, calm down. With that I use my top speed and grab and sword away from her. To everyone other than us two. It looks as if the sword teleported to me. And looks at me in astonishment, but really though. I'm too fast, I say. You move so fast. Maybe you aren't so slow after all if you could see me move. I surrender and says, raising her hand. What did you do that for? You were just going easy on her. Just step it up a notch. The same audience member says, well, if you two are done, you must return to your parents' dwelling. In steps Hannah, ah yes. It's time we have a reunion with our parents as well. And tells me, yeah, I guess so. We can come back anytime anyway using space magic. We can also instantly arrive at our home. I open a door-sized portal. Come along by guys. I'll miss you, and says to our classmates bye. They all say at once. We step through the portal I made. We appear in front of our home. Oh yeah. You never did tell them I went missing, did you? I ask, and I did not. Well. You go first and tell them everything. I'll stay back admiring the air. Just tell me when our parents are prepared and when to come in. All right, she says, and she enters the rather large building. A few minutes later, I can hear her calling to me from inside our house. Jess, they're as ready as they'll ever be. Come to the dining room. I slowly get to the door and open it. I walk down the hall and enter the room. So it's true what she says. Father says, Jess, my baby. Mother runs at me and hugs me. I'm all right. Nothing terrible happened, I say. Is this why you didn't come home all these years? And Father says yes. I was ashamed that I had lost her and afraid I would be blamed for her being missing. You shouldn't have worried about it, sweetheart. Mother says, finally letting me go. Do you remember anything of those 8 years you were gone? She asks. Yes. I had this exact conversation with Principal Jipper, and I may have left out something rather important, but on purpose. Why would you do that? Well, I didn't know how he would react to my species being changed. I say casually, throwing out a species change. What? All three of them yelled. Chapter 20 Truth. I decide to tell my family about what happened that night. Leaving out God, of course. So you're actually a dragon now? Father asks. Yes. Indeed I am. Do you mind if we see? And asks. See what your current true form? She says. I sigh. I guess so. I start to concentrate. Wait. Don't do it in here. You'll be too big and you'll break something. Mother screams. Don't worry. I read information on the dragon I am, and it said I could control my size. How you ever been able to? And asks. Well, I was only a dragon for a few seconds before I changed to a human form. Oh, she says, it'll be fine, don't worry. I finished getting myself concentrated. I close my eyes and picture myself back as the dragon, but the size of a German shepherd. Did it work? I ask, and open my eyes. Everything seems slightly bigger. I am also under the table. Jess, where did you go? I hear Father say. I jump onto the table and surprise everyone. They all stare at me in awe at my gray body with small crystal spikes connected to me. Sorry, I was under the table, I tell them. I cut Mother off. Yeah, I know. I'm a dragon. No, not just that, she continues. You're the fabled, foul Pharaoh Dragon. Ugh, I really don't like that name. The foul Pharaoh Dragon was the only creature in the world with a danger level of 10. She says, yeah, I know. Because it could control all of the magic types. Well, guess what I can too? You can help everyone in the war between Cresselia. Father says, oh, by the way, I know the actual source of that sound you all thought came from there. You do? What was it? He asks. It would be better if we went outside for this one. We all walk outside. I practice flying through the halls a bit in my smaller dragon body while we make our way there. Stand back, I tell them when we reach outside. I grow back to my normal size. I am now 4 times their height. Wow. They say in astonishment. All right, ready? I ask. Without letting them answer. I face my head up and use sound magic to amplify my voice again. The whole house shakes. Everybody loses their balance, and I look at the path my voice made, and there was a big hole in the clouds above us. You were the cause. Oh, the sound? Father asks. Well, yeah, I say, shrinking back to dog size. We must tell the royal family immediately. We need to prevent this war, he says. Jess, could you take us there? Mother asks. What do you mean? The fastest way to get to the castle would be to us space magic. But neither of us have it, and you have never been there, so you won't know where to put the portal. Father says, why can't you use a carriage? That would take too long. Oh, all right. Just tell me where to go, I say, and grow back again. Father climbs on my back and holds on to one of the crystals. Thank you, Jess. Mother says as she is helped us by father who also helps and looks like it's a family trip then and says, Hee it would seem so. I laugh. All right, Jess. We need you to as fast as you can in that direction. Father says as he points southwest. Let's just hope that my fastest is actually fast. I expand my huge wings and start flapping. I steadily start to rise off the ground. You don't need to be careful just for us, okay then? Just hang on even if they say they'll be fine. I use air magic to make a sort of bubble of protection around them. I don't know if they noticed, but I did. My body became slightly transparent. I use my wings and flap once. We are immediately hundreds of feet in the air. I continue flapping to hover in the air. Are you alright back there? I wait for a response. Nothing. Either I can't hear you, you fainted. Or you're all dead. Yeah, we're fine. And says. You can't hear the other two. Phew. I thought I'd lost you all. Now we're off. I use my wings to go straight in the direction father pointed. In seconds I catch a glimpse of what looks like an avocado. I stop and ask, is this it? Father says yes. Please land somewhere safe, alright. I begin our descent. Rather than going straight down and giving a huge gust of wind to the place, I circle above it and quickly but gradually make it down. On the way down, I see the pit of the avocado is where the castle is. I decide to land there. I find an open field inside the walls of the pit and land there gracefully. I take down the air magic around my passengers and become no longer transparent. We're here, I tell them. Halt in the name of King Frederick Varel and Queen Amelia Varel of the continent Xerneas. What looks like hundreds of guards surrounded me. I cower and pretend fear, hoping they'll think I mean no harm. Father hops off of me and tells them, I am Gerald Chinwike, a noble from this continent. I request to be in attendance of the king and queen. Move aside, guards. A man says, moving past everyone in the crowd. Hello, my old friend. Father says, hello, brother. The man says, chapter 21 leaders. All of the guards around the man kneel down. My king. A few of them say, I help mother and off of me using my wing. They acted as if it was like a slide. I take a look at the so-called king. He has dark gray hair and is wearing a very expensive looking coat. King brother, your brother is the king. The king is your brother. And beats me to the question, stepbrother actually. The king says, I need to speak with you regarding the war against Cresselia you've started. They started it when that sound was heard on their continent. Just now another was heard. That sound is exactly what I speak of. What do you mean? The king says confusedly. I know the true origin of that sound well. Spit it out as you can see. There is a dragon behind me. That was my second question. Well, have you looked close enough? The king squints his eyes at me. I get that it's a dragon and all, but what is its significa? Wait. It can't be. Oh yes, it can, and it is. Kill it now. He ordered his guards to kill me. I quickly changed to the size of a human hand. Everyone lost where I went. I flew over to and parked on her head. Where has it gone? The king asks. I'm over here. I say, slightly mocking him, I don't see you. Look at the teenager's head. Why would I? Oh, I see. Don't even try to hurt me or any of them. I threaten him. Why should I trust you? I'll let you buy more of these if you do. I spit out a crystal from the cave. This one ended up being a red one. This is... I cut him off. Yeah, I get it. It's valuable. I've got plenty where that came from. Now let's get on with stopping the war, please. Yes. Of course he is dumbfounded. Please follow me. He leads us into the castle of his. This place is huge. It must have at least 10 floors. Just by looking at the outside, it seems the whole avocado pit is 2 miles in diameter. The king takes us down a hall into the throne room. He continues to walk behind the thrones and steps up to a mirror. Calling leader of Adroya, he says out loud, Ah, Frederick, what makes you call at this time? We hear an old man speaking. We must call off war with Cresselia. Why would we? They have a dangerous weapon. The weapon has been discovered. It is not owned by any specific country. The weapon, in fact, is not owned by anyone. What do you mean by that? It would be easier to show you. He turns over to look at us and waves his hand, gesturing me to come over. I grow to dog size again and stand in front of the mirror-like object. Is that a dragon? Those are extremely rare. Now that I have a good look at him. He has dark yellow hair and looks old enough so be a senior citizen 10 times over. It's not just any dragon, the king says. The old guy looks at me closer while I just silently spin around slowly. Is it really? Yes. This here is what made that sound 1 month ago and the one that happened only a moment ago. Okay, I'm done, I'm sorry. Please stop calling me this, and I am a she. Thank you. I must contact Lady Kate immediately as well. Of course, and I will notify Mr. Myletus of Cresselia that we are no longer at war. Hey, before you go, I say, if they get mad that you tried to start war in the first place, just bribe them with these crystals. I pop a few out and let him see, then I return them. The old man looks surprised but leave anyway. Call leader of Clumaine. Oh, hello there, Frederick. What makes you call today? Hello, Lady Kate. He says and points at me. That's a Pharaoh Dragon, she says immediately. Wow, that was probably the fastest anyone has recognized me. I say it's a female too, that's good. But why is one there with you? This dragon was the source of that sound 1 month ago as well as the one that just recently happened. So you're saying, we don't need to go to war with Cresselia, we do not. Good, I never started preparing anyway. It's good to meet your acquaintance, Miss Just call me Miss J, yes of course. Thank you so much for saving our continents from war. Bye, she leaves. Well, I guess that's it then. The king says, will you hold your end of the bargain? Oh, course. I'll sell you the crystals for almost the highest price possible. We wouldn't want you losing money now, would we? I could get someone to buy these for 10 royal coins each. Please allow me to buy each for 5 royal coins. I quickly asked the family. I don't actually know anything about the currency of this world, so could you get me an explanation? And answers saying, 1 royal coin, 1,000 platinum coins, 1 platinum coin, 1,000 gold coins, 1 gold coin, 1,000 silver coins, 1 silver coin, 1,000 copper coins. Thank you, I tell her. I give my attention back to the king. It's a deal. How many would you like? 1 of each color would be nice, all right. That'll be 60 royal coins then. He takes out the money and I take out 1 of each color for him. Except red. Hey, you're missing one, he says. You're holding it. He looks and sees the red one in his hand already. Oh, all right, what do I do now? I ask everyone. You could become this kingdom's protector, no thanks. Anything else? You could aid the adventurers somehow. What's an adventure? I ask. I really have no idea. Chapter 22, Adventurers. You don't know what an adventurer is? The king asks. I really don't. An adventurer is someone who goes on quests to help out the kingdom. Those questions can take a variety of shapes. Sounds boring, I say. I've heard it's rather fun. Come on, we should join, and says sure. Let's at least look around the kingdom first, please. Have my guards escort you, I think we'll be fine. The thing is, I can't have a dragon just wandering around my kingdom. Well, if that's the problem, I'd change myself to human form, is that better? He seems surprised. Would you like to return home? I ask my parents. Yes, if you would, mother says. I open a portal back to the house and both her and father step through. Be safe, she says. All right, shall we go then? I ask and we're off, she says. She follows me out the castle. The same way we came in then. We step outside the walls of the pit of the avocado. Where should we go? And asks, let's eat lunch first. I say. We walk around for a while before we find a cafe. After we eat lunch, we pay with 1 of the royal coins. We end up getting 999 platinum coins, 999 gold coins, and 950 silver coins back. Those coins are really valuable. We continue to wander around the city. Hey, Jess. And suddenly initiates a conversation. Yeah. Why didn't you tell Lady Kate your name? Well, if I had told her my name, they would all know that I was the daughter of the nobles in Xerneas. That would mean Xerneas owns a powerful dragon. That could start tension between the continents. I understand, she says. We eventually stumble upon a building with a sign that says Adventurers Guild. It's not a fairly big building. I definitely thought it would be bigger. Do you really want to join? I ask Anne. Of course I do, all right. I say as step through the door. Inside I see 10 people at what seems to be a bar on the left side of the room. On the right are 3 bulletin boards with an impressive amount of papers stuck to them. On the other side of the room are receptionist desks and stairs to a 2nd floor on each of the far corners. And I walk towards the desks. Hello. Would you like to make a request or would you like to join? One of the receptionists says. She looks like she is in her late 20s and has brown hair. We'd like to join, please, and tells her of course. The receptionist looks slightly surprised by the telepathy. It costs 100 gold coins to join, she says. I give her the money. All right then. Please come with me, she says. We follow her to a door next to the stairs in the corner of the room and enter. Inside is an orb like the one we used in the academy. Please place your hand on this orb. And complies, and her 4 orbs glow again, I see. Impressive. The receptionist writes something down on a piece of paper. With those orbs you will receive a level of 5. She says, "Excuse me, what does that mean?" I ask. "Oh, let me explain. Adventurers and monster are shown with levels. The higher the levels, the more powerful the being." "How do you find the levels?" and asks. "It all depends on the magic they can use. One common magic type has a worth of 1. A rare magic type is 2 and legendary is 3. Level 1 has a worth of 0 to 1, 2 has 2 to 3. 3 has 4 to 5, 4 has 6 to 8, 5 has 9 to 11. 6 has 12 to 14, 7 has 15 to 17, 8 has 18 to 20. 9 has 21 to 23, and 10 has 24 and up. However, most living beings have a level below 4. Wait. How can something have more than the 12 magic types?" I ask. "Well, there are other things that can change the level of someone. Please place your hand on the orb," she says. I comply, and the receptionist is immediately stunned. I hear she can't speak. "It's okay, I know." She writes again on the piece of paper. "I need to meet with someone. Please rest near the cafe." "You mean the bar?" I ask. "What is a bar that is a cafe?" she says, and leaves us inside the room. "Well, I think that went well," I say. "Let's wait for the receptionist out there." And leaves the room, and I follow. We sit at one of the tables near the cafe. "Hey, what did you do to make Olivia so worked up?" someone asks from behind me. I look over to see a very muscular bald man. "Hey, Hercules. All we did was put our hands on the orb back there," I say. He looks a little proud of himself since I called him that. "You two must be very strange kids if you did that to her." "I guess you could say that," I say. "I'm sorry for making you two wait. Please come with me, you must meet with someone." The person called Olivia says sure. Chapter 23, Guild Leader. "So, whom are you taking us to see?" I ask. "The guild leader wishes to see you," she says. "It is about your abilities, yeah, okay." She takes us away from the cafe and up the stairs. Once we are on the 2nd level, we see a few doors. "What are all these rooms for?" I ask. "These are living spaces for a few of the adventurers," she says. "Then where will the guild leader be?" and asks. "Just through here." She points to the door directly across from the stairs. "Please enter." I push the door open and enter the room while and follows. "So you two are the ones with exceptional abilities," a man with brown hair says. "Does everyone here have brown hair or something?" I ask. "Well, mine is a mix between green and orange, but no. It is just us two that have brown hair," he says. "Impressive, he can use 2 legendary magic types. Now tell me, did you somehow cheat using the orb?" he asks. "Oh, most definitely," I say, and looks at me confused. "How have you done that?" "And why?" he says. "I just wanted to see what would happen. All I did was touch the orb." That still doesn't explain how all the orbs were glowing. Who knows? He looks at me with a stern face. "Okay, maybe I'm lying, I didn't cheat it," I say. He glares at me. "What do you want me to prove it?" "Fight me." "Why would I have to fight you?" "That's how you will prove it." "Why does it have to be a fight? Why not a demonstration or something?" "That's not good enough," he says. "I'm only 8 years old, you know, so that doesn't mean you're not powerful. Just because I made all the orbs glow doesn't mean I can control them all well." "Well, if you won't fight me, I won't allow the 2 of you to become adventurers." "Why would I care?" I say. I make a glance in Anne's direction. She has a begging face. "Fine. Let's just get this over with," I say. And jumps over and hugs me. "Come with me outside." He says sure. We follow him down the stairs. Everyone is staring at us. Is he going to fight them? I hear Hercules say, "I need to watch this." We follow the guild leader outside, and he goes behind the building. We see a field that is as big as the building. "This is where we will fight," he says. "Olivia, if you would all right. The fight will be over once one of the participants can no longer continue or surrenders." I look at and to see her slightly cocky expression. I smile at her, knowing that she thinks highly of me. I turn back to the guild leader. "You know, you never told me your name." I tell him. "Oh, my apologies. The name is Mark. Good to meet you." He says, "You are allowed to use any sort of weapon you own or that is already on the field." Ready? Olivia asks us both. "Hey, wait a second. Isn't this fight a little unfair to her? She doesn't even have any weapons." I look over to see Hercules and the other adventurers about to witness the fight. "Certainly not if this were unfair to anyone. That would be me. Mark says, come on. Just let us start already. I tell everyone start. Olivia yells. I stand there casually, waiting for Mark to make the first move. What are you afraid to hit a girl? No, of course not. I'm afraid to hit a child, he says. Well, don't worry. I already agreed to fight. As I say that, he takes a sword out of a portal. He runs at me. He's slower than in. I easily evade his first thrust, you know. If you want to beat me, you're going to have to try harder, okay then. He disappears to everyone, including and for me. He's just slightly faster than in. I'm still easily going to outmatch him. He gets behind me and tries to slice my legs. I jump up and over his blade. Is that the best you can do? I ask, trying to tease him. He comes towards me at his fastest speed and tries to swing at my arm. Again, I easily move away. Why don't you try using magic? I ask. Why don't you try attacking me besides? Legendary magic types are illegal to use as weapons in friendly battles. He retorts, you can't use any other magic types. Well, I can use light, but all that can do is blind people. Even that doesn't work on those who can also use light magic. I start laughing. You're funny. What do you mean? I'll show you what light can do, I say. Part of my hair begins to turn white as I make spears of light appear beside me. See, now I have weapons. I take a spear and let the others disappear. With my top speed, I instantly reach Mark and stab him in the forearm with a spear. It hurts, doesn't it? You don't need that sword when you have all the weapons you could dream of with your magic. The same goes with most of the other types. I surrender, he says in a pained voice. I dissolve the light spear and my hair changes back. The winner is I never told anyone my name, please. Call me Miss J. The winner is Miss J, she says proudly. I look over to our audience and see astonished faces all around. I smile and wave. Maybe one of you would like to try as well, I say, and everyone looks away. Chapter 24, Identification. Now that you two are done fighting, we need to get Miss J and she doesn't know N's name either. Call her Miss A. I say for her, all right, Miss A and Miss J. You need to get your adventure identifications, she says and starts to walk inside. Everyone on the field follows suit. Hey, Miss J. What was that with your hair? Mark asks. Whenever I use magic, parts of my hair change color. Interesting. Once inside, everyone continues doing as they were. All right, let's get your IDs, Olivia says, pulling out 2 small pieces of paper and placing one in front of each of us. Now to do that, we must get your information. These papers will only tell the truth, so nobody lies about who they are. Oh. All you have to do is place your hand on it, like you did with the orb. And complied and placed her hand on the paper put in front of her. Information shows up on it, and Chinwike Missa. Age 16, species human, class level 5 adventurer. Oh no, that's not good. Why does it have Miss A in parenthesis and asks? All of your nicknames will show up there, she says. I place my hand on the paper in front of me. Information finds its way there. Jessica Chinwike, Miss J. Jess Janet, age 8, fixed. Species dragon, fowl pharaoh. Class level 10 creature. Nobody says anything. It looks like Olivia is about to say something when and speaks up. Who calls you Janet? Don't worry about it. It's nothing. Also, why does it say your age is fixed? How am I supposed to know? I also only just found out. Well, what is the next step? And asks. You asked about those two, but what about the rest? Olivia is still confused. What about them? Asks N. Nothing. All you have to do is wait. I will process these and make your IDs. Although, what name would you two like to be displayed on them? Miss J and Miss A, please. I say, okay, please. Rest at the cafe, and I walk to the cafe. I sit facing the entrance with my back facing the stairs and the desks. How late is it? And asks. I think it's near sundown. I say we decide to eat supper at the cafe. A little while after we finish, we hear what? It sounds like Mark. We then hear someone fumbling down the stairs. Your AI just nods, still facing the entrance. You know. Now I wish you would have let us fill in our own information. Since now if anyone looks at mine, they will immediately be afraid. I don't want that. Not at all. Someone walks up behind me and hands in our cards. Here you go, Miss A and J. It sounds like Olivia. I'm afraid I'm going to have to tell the royal family about you. Miss J. Oh, don't worry, the king already knows. He's the original reason I came to the kingdom. What? Don't worry, we didn't harm him or anything. There is no reason to do so. I say that's a relief. Do you mind giving a brief explanation of what an adventurer does? Sure, an adventurer can. by themselves or with their party. Complete quests to earn money. For a living or for fun and help the kingdom. How many people are usually in a party? There is usually 3. But a party of 2 is acceptable. He says, referring to my sister and I. How can we make a party well? You would need a name and 1 platinum coin. I drop the platinum coin above his head and pick a name, I say, and looks at me with a worried expression. You're acting very foul right now, Jess. She says and thinks for a bit. Oh, I got it. How about Pharaoh's foul, she says happily. I sigh deeply. Why would you make it similar to that name? Sure. Whatever, I say, accepting it. All right then. I just need your IDs back also. Who will be acting as the leader of the party? Olivia asks. I say immediately she will. And says at the same time, right. Olivia walks away with our IDs again while we wait. Hercules attempts to strike a conversation. What did you do now? Don't worry about it, I say. They're afraid of her power. And disregards my privacy. I glare at her and she only smiles. Hear you too. Have your IDs now, Olivia says, giving them to us. I look at Anne's ID and it just has another line that was added. Miss A, party, Pharaoh's foul, age 16, species human. Class level 5 adventurer. My ID, on the other hand, had extra changes. Miss J. Party, Pharaoh's foul, leader, age 8, species human. Class level 10 adventurer. Thank you for this. I tell Olivia it's the least I could do. Are you ready to head home? And I ask yes. She replies, wait. Why don't you 2 stay here at the guild? These rooms are reserved for powerful parties after all. Olivia says no thanks. We can easily travel thanks to space magic. And says, and I say goodbye and we leave the building. Hey Jess, do you think I could ride on your back again while you fly? She asks timidly. Sure, why not? I drag her to the field behind the building first and change into a dragon. Get on my wing, I tell her. She complies and I cradle her and let her slide to my back to grab hold of the crystals. Don't go fast this time, please, she says. I want to admire the view, sure. I quickly take off from the ground and start flying towards home. Even without going very fast. We still arrive within half an hour. Chapter 25 Quest. We've arrived home, man. I say as I land in the front of our home. Yes, it seems we have, she says. I let her use my wing as a slide again, and once she is off I shrink back to a dog-size form. We walk inside. Father, mother, we are home. And says to the house. One of the butlers comes over. Mr. and Mrs. Chinwyke have gone to bed already, please. Be quiet as to not disturb them. And nods and walks while I fly towards our old room. She opens the door. It's been 8 years since we left, she says. Hey, and yeah. I feel like it might be a little weird if we sleep with each other now that we are no longer twins. It might not be weird if you stay in this form. She says and gestures to me maybe. And gets changed into sleepwear and I just lie on the bed. I move over when she gets on and she puts her hand on my back. I never noticed before. Your wings look like metal blades. My entire body is made of very strong metal, I say. She runs her hand along my back, but it feels so skin-like. It doesn't feel like metal at all. Well, I wouldn't know, I can't feel for myself. She continues to stroke my back until she falls asleep. I soon follow once we wake to start the day. We eat breakfast and start the day. We should start a quest, and suggests. Aren't those dangerous, I ask. Only if you do them wrong, sure, why not? I go back to human form, use space magic to take us back to the field behind the guild. Come on, I say, and follows me inside. There are a lot more people here than there were yesterday. I look at the receptionist desks and Olivia is the only one open. What is with all these people yesterday? Everyone says they saw a certain dragon. They were hoping the king would send out a subjugation request. What's a subjugation request? A subjugation is when the quest involves killing something. A request is made by someone that needs something done and can't or doesn't want to do it. I look around again, most of them are just talking. I listen to one of the conversations. I doubt there was an actually real dragon here. If there was, why didn't it cause any destruction? Maybe it's friendly. I've never heard of a friendly dragon before. I continue looking around. I spot Hercules talking to someone that wasn't here yesterday either. I listen, and yesterday those 2 girls registered. One of them beat Mark. We think the other is more powerful than him as well. They're also in a party called Pharaoh's Foul. I laugh. Olivia and looked at me confused. So what kind of quests can we take, Olivia, I ask. You're level 10, you can take any quest you want. Just go to those bulletin boards and pick one, okay? I walk over and follows pick one. I don't care what I say and looks for a while. She grabs one off of a board if you have one. Let's take it to Olivia. We walk back over and I notice quite a few people looking at us. We'll take this one, are you sure about that? You two only just started. Olivia says yes and says, alright, let me give some information on this. This is a level 4 creature subjugation. This creature is called a horned lizard owl. It has been terrorizing people who leave through the gates. Okay, which gate? I ask. West, let's go. And I leave the building and go west towards the wall around the city. When we get to the wall, there are 2 guards blocking the gate. We have come to get rid of the problem, and says, you two couldn't possibly kill that thing. I show them my ID and they open the gate immediately. We step through the gate and I see the horned lizard owl on a tree. It has the body of a brown owl, but has the head and neck of a gray horned lizard. It jumps off the tree towards and puts its talons in front of itself to attack. She uses telekinesis and just takes it down to the ground and holds it in place. I use water magic and make a thin needle to shoot straight at the creature's heart. And lets go of the now lifeless body. I suck the body up with space magic and then continue to make a portal back to the front of the guild. We enter and everyone who noticed us before seems surprised. Is there a problem with the quest? Olivia asks when we walk up to her. Yeah. It was too easy, I say. I drop the corpse on the ground in front of the desk. Oh, let me retrieve your reward, she says. They probably bribed someone to do that for them. There is no way they could have done that themselves. An adventurer says out loud so everyone could hear. Hey, that little girl made Mark surrender during their fight yesterday. I hear Hercules say he probably let her win. The man says no, she stabbed him pretty bad. Hercules says, here is your reward, you two. Olivia says and gives me 2 gold coins.